Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Demon Slayer. Finally, I know that the first Demon Slayer reaction went up on the 1st, and the next one the next week, and this is just the next week after that, so why do I sound like that? Well, I recorded the last episode when I was sick in the middle of December, so it's been a couple weeks. Let's say, for me. It's been a couple weeks since I watched Demon Slayer last, and it's kind of been killing me, because this is one of the shows of the, roster I'm doing. This is one of the shows where I'm like, oh, man, I want to get back to it, I want to see what's going to go on, But I do remember what happened last time. Last time on Demon Slayer, we had trainer, Sakanji Urokodaki. I remember how to say that. I don't remember how to say his first name, but Urokodaki. Yes, so Tanjiro and Nezuko were attacked by this one demon, and they were doing okay, and then eventually a demon slayer showed up and was unconvinced of Tanjiro's ability to be a demon slayer, and yeah, he pretty much was like, no, you're too soft, you're too kind, but he agreed to at least give him a test. The test was, the two of them climbed to the top of a mountain, and Tanjiro had to make it back to Urokodaki's house before sunrise, and along the way there were a bunch of traps and everything to stop him, but luckily Tanjiro with his nose was able to make it through all the trials and tribulations, and he made it back, and Urokodaki remembered basically the letter he got from Gyu and said, alright, there may be something here with this kid, so yeah. So, now he is going to be training Tanjiro, which is pretty cool. So yeah, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Demon Slayer. Here we go. Alright, that's 2 years. Whoo boy. Those are always fun, Those are always fun. It reminds me a little bit of the beginning of Attack on Titan. Before the dark times. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, because I mean, like, that was the thing in Attack on Titan is you had that training, the training camp in order to become... well, to join the military, basically, when they became cadets and stuff. So yeah, it reminded me, like, it reminded me of that, which I guess, in a sense, it's almost identical, where, Eren had his difficulties with the training, and then Reina and Bertolt taught him, and then he got good. So, yeah, it's like that. I hope that's where the similarities to Attack on Titan end, just for the sake of Sabito and Makomo, but that's beside the point, and I won't go into that in case you haven't seen Attack on Titan. That's probably too much anyway. Anyway, doesn't matter, because this is Demon Slayer, and yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I guess, yeah, it had to happen, but it was such a... I don't know, how am I going to put this? It felt a little weird, I must say. It felt a little weird because it was literally just like... I feel like this whole episode just boils down to get good. Just get good, And I guess you could go into sort of, the, do or do not. There is no try, So, well, yeah. I guess you could sort of see that as that that Tanjiro was kind of doing this sort of half-assedly, where he knew what to do, but he just wasn't doing it. But I find it so strange that for a year and a half, he just wasn't getting this, So, what, what was running through Urokodaki's mind for a year and a half. Like, why is this kid? He's not getting it. Like, he memorized. He knew what to do. He just wasn't doing it, you know? And it took, it took this other dude kicking his ass and this, kawaii girl to be nice to him for him to finally realize what he's doing, Yeah, that's weird. That is really weird that it's like, oh, he wasn't getting it with Urokodaki, so here's some other people to teach him. I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of how it's presented, because it's like, at the beginning of this episode, he's starting, Like, he just got off his test, he's starting training, and by the end of the episode, 23 minutes, he's done, And so to put that kind of training in that amount of time, but I mean, like, there are other things to do that. Again, Attack on Titan did it in, like, maybe 1 or 2 episodes at the most. I mean, you look at other stuff like, training montages in, like, Rocky or something, and it's like, yeah, it's a short amount of time, but for some reason, I don't know, this one's actually not clicking with me very well, where it's like, at the end, it's like, oh, yes, he did it, he overcame his weaknesses, and he managed to break the boulder, But, I don't know, I guess it's, like, okay, to put it into other anime terms, let's forget Attack on Titan, let's move over to something like Dragon Ball, I guess, Like, because I made a joke about, oh, you wear the, the turtle shell and you carry milk. That's how Master Roshi taught Goku and Krillin. And it would basically be like if, well, first off, it was just Goku, and Goku, he knew how to do the Kamehameha, but he just couldn't, and he just wasn't doing it, And then some other person came in after Master Roshi and was like, yo, do it. And suddenly Goku was like, oh, I have to, like, do it. And then he did it, And then the episode ended. Like, that's what it feels like, is that Urokodaki is like, hey, you need to do this, 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 and this. And Tanjiro's like, all right, I wrote that down. And he's not doing it. Urokodaki's like, well, you got to do it. And Tanjiro is just not hearing that part. And then someone else comes in and is like, yo, he literally says the exact same thing. He literally says the exact same thing as Urokodaki. And Tanjiro's suddenly like, oh, that's what I need to do? And it's like, what have you been doing? So I don't know. That was kind of weird. That's a weird part of this, I must say. That it's like, I feel like they didn't teach him something new. Like, okay, if he just wasn't getting it, that's one thing. And if Sabito and Makomo came in and was like, hey, you need to, like, maybe it wasn't just like, he knows the secret, the concentration breathing technique, but, like, there's a trick of it that he can't figure out. And eventually, like, Makomo, like, is trying to, like, tell him something, and that's when he realizes, oh, this is what I need to be doing. Like, he realizes something, Like, oh, okay, I get it now. So, in order to do it, like, I have to feel this thing, or something. Like, he realizes it, It's that, Urokodaki told him about it, and then Makomo, gently helped him, gently guided him to where he needed to go. But that didn't happen. It really does feel like Urokodaki told him what to do, then Sabito told him what to do, and then Makomo told him what to do, and finally, once the cute little girl showed up, then Tanjiro finally paid attention and started doing what he needed to do for 6 months. I don't know. It seems a little weird to me. It seems a little weird. Is that just me? I don't know. And I don't know. This will probably just be a sort of, one-off thing, I hope, but because the training arc's done. Now we're gonna go to the final selection, But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I feel like Tanjiro's realization was, oh, the thing that everybody keeps telling me to do, I need to do that. And it's like, yeah, no shit. That's why 3 people have told you to do this, you know? So yeah, it's, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But other than that, I mean, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it, but it's just sort of a strange thing, you know? They also did mention that, the 2 ways to kill a demon. One is sunlight, as we saw. The other is decapitation with a special sword. Now, that's an interesting thing, because, yeah, at first, last episode, when Tanjiro got out his knife to kill the demon, and Urokodaki said, no, that's not enough. You know, that blade is not enough. And I thought, well, that's weird. You know, from what I've seen, Demon Slayers exclusively use swords. They use katanas, you know? At least Gyu did. And, I don't know, Gyu seems to be Mr. Demon Slayer, you know? So I was curious. It's like, okay, so why? And it seems to be something specific, you know. I would imagine it's something specific with the brain, which is why, you know, you just get a big rock and you crush it. It would kill the demon, you know? So there must be something special about the sword that as it decapitates, it must, you know, affect the brain. Which I guess is also kind of Attack on Titan. It's just, you know, they exclusively go for the back of the neck, but, you know. But still. So yeah, but I'm glad they cleared that up, because it was sort of just a thing in the back of my head last episode, you know? So yeah. And then yeah, the rest of the stuff, the training was good, was interesting. I like that, because it makes sense, because I thought at first with the, you know, he kept going, you know, he would have to go down the mountain and avoid the traps, and I started to think, like, well, eventually you're just going to memorize where the traps are and preemptively avoid them. But obviously Urokodaki keeps setting new traps so that the traps keep changing so that Tanjiro can't expect them, you know? So that makes sense. And then yeah, so Nezuko has been asleep for 2 years. What's going on? What's going on with that? Why has she been asleep for 2 years? The only thing I can think is that she literally was just like, okay, you're going to be training here. I don't need to, you know, get in your way, and, you know, because I imagine, again, if she is awake, there's the temptation to do something, especially to give into her hunger. So I'm thinking she's just gonna stay asleep while he's training, you know? Now, we see in the opening that, you know, first off, we see, you know, a bunch of other characters. We see a bunch of other characters that I'm sure we're going to be introduced to in the coming episodes. But we also see Nezuko awake, you know? She's awake and, you know, meeting them and everything, and being with Tanjiro. So I imagine this really just is like, why is Nezuko asleep for 2 years? Because we couldn't have her do anything in this episode, you know? It's like, you know, while Tanjiro is training for 2 years, she literally just has to sleep and just wait until he's done, you know? So, that's what I would expect. I guess if that was the case, you would also probably expect that to then, you know, she gets up at the end of the episode, but I imagine that might be the beginning of next episode. They wanted to end on, you know, he sliced the boulder. I don't know how that happened, you know? It's like, oh, Tanjiro was really good, but he didn't realize that he wasn't actually fighting Sabito. He was actually cutting the boulder. I don't know how the hell he did that, you know? I don't know how that happened, but whatever, he did it. Good job. Go get a haircut. But yeah, I guess I shouldn't talk about haircuts. My hair is particularly long right now, so anyway. But yeah, so an interesting episode. What did you guys think? Am I wrong about what I think about the training? It just seems odd, you know? It just seems odd that it seems like he really didn't get any new information, you know, because if he was being taught the technique, the breathing technique, why didn't he do it? You know? Why didn't he do it? Why, like, he got taught by an old man, and then he got his ass kicked by Sabito, and then it's like, it literally took the cute girl to show up in order for Tanjiro to realize what the hell he needs to be doing, you know? So, I don't know, like, I feel like it should have been something like he's struggling with it, he can't figure it out, but then, you know, like, he's talking to Makomo, and suddenly he realized, like, oh, this is the thing I need to be... I mean, maybe I guess that's technically what happened, but I don't know, like... I don't know. It seems weird, but it's fine. It's fine and good, and I'm still excited to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. Oh god, there's a playlist for all of my Demon Slayer reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.